It's a basic human right to get where you need to go and to be able to do it without getting killed.
This is a public health issue, and if we don't address equity from a public health standpoint, we can't get healthy.
That's why it's so important to have plans that can outlast individual people. Having a complete streets policy really gives vocabulary to the ideas that we have at the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to make our streets a place where you can drive your car, you can ride your bike, you can walk, and you can even take an electric scooter and connect to public transportation.
But this is affordable, essential mobility. But it's also important to say this is not should we, it's how should we.
We're known as the double black diamond of streets.
It's also a city that really can only be understood in 3 dimensions.
Nowhere else can I think of where you go from Manhattan downtown to Appalachia within a couple miles of downtown.
I think one of the unique things, we got 90 neighborhoods, and our neighborhoods are all really connected together.
We're a city that was built on walking. We have nearly 800 sets of public staircases.
Up and around hills and valleys, rivers and bridges. But today, it's not simply a car that is being used for mobility. People are walking, choosing to live without a car, biking. People are using public transit, taxis and Ubers and scooters. And all of these different modes have to be able to work together in one system in order for a city to be able to offer the full complement of mobility.
To see how the neighborhoods interact with one another, to see how we're growing as a region, how we move from the steel mills into meds and ads and others. It's just a constant theme of growth, a constant theme of overcoming, a constant theme of being beautiful.
You know, I grew up in the 1970s. The Pirates won 2 World Series. The Steelers won 4 Super Bowls. Pitt won a national championship, and then the city died. In the 1980s, we went through an economic collapse greater than the Great Depression. Economic and financial recovery took 30 years.
And so we're down to, 300,000+ people in a city built for 600,000 people.
Although we are proud of our past, a city is not wed to its past, but can create its own future. In building out complete streets, it meant that part of the motorist route would be sacrificed in order to be able to create mobility for everyone.
In 2016, the City Council, under the guidance of Mayor Bill Peduto, passed a complete streets ordinance, which said we need to create a complete network, and it really took a network approach to it.
And so what it was a foundation to have the conversations, to get other planning documents in place. For example, our Bike Plus Master Plan that we just released in 2020, and our Complete Streets Design Guide that we're working on right now.
And it took a lot of educating people around what all the benefits that come with an approach like Complete Streets. That it's beautifying our streets, it's adding trees, it's giving everyone a place where they can safely travel.
If you had a child right now and he had to walk on that sidewalk and you see what it looks like, as a mama, you're not gonna feel that.
Anytime you beautify a street, it's received really well. Bigelow Boulevard is gorgeous, and we knew that there was a lot of potential there.
Where I'm standing now, you can see that we've got a light rail station. You can see that we have a protected bike lane. You can see that we've got really great and accessible sidewalks. That's not the case for every neighborhood. And I believe something around 20% of our households don't have access to a private automobile.
It's not about, having a complete street in every council district.
You start who's in the most need and then you move forward. We need to make sure that the narrative is correct, that we're talking about why this is safe and healthy, how many accidents have happened right here, and use that data that we have in order to explain why this is necessary. Then people can begin to see complete streets. Good mobility is safe streets. The ability for our children to walk on sidewalks, or for those that's disabled to have curb cuts that's connected to the schools so that they can get there is important. And the fact that we have a blueprint is good.
We have a complete street law on the books, and it's our mandate as representatives, but as trustees of the city, to follow that. So I think that having that is a great North Star, something for us to aspire to in all areas and all neighborhoods of the city.
This is something that is going to have to continue to be implemented over many directors and many mayors and many city councils. All of the easy stuff has been done. Now we're into the place where we need to talk about trade-offs.
If you are a mayor of a city, look at your population. And if your population needs multiple different ways to get to point A to point B, then you have a responsibility. Because mobility not only affects being able to get to work, it affects being able to get to the doctor. It affects being able to get to food. And in fact, the greatest factor in economic mobility is the ability to get from point A to point B.
Development takes 20 years to happen, So it's not like development happens overnight, but if we invest and we plant the right seed of change in this city will be a better city because they will see it as a city for all.